Welcome to our Devos, and we're talking about family matters. We're talking about the issues that crop up inside of families. And today I want to talk to you about a boundary that just affects every family, and it tends to affect families that have more money than don't. And that's just this simple idea when it comes to boundaries. Just be really careful with money. Be really, really careful with money. I'll tell you a story that I've seen happen in families over and over again, but I'll just pick one out of the many that I've seen. There'll be a father or mother that loans their child like $5,000 to do something, and maybe buy a car, or put a down payment on a home, or go on a trip or whatever, pay off debt. Who knows? It doesn't make a difference. All right, that loan. When that person loans that child money, what happens is if that money isn't paid back, then here's what happens. There's resentment that starts to build. Oh, what's he doing? Oh, look at him. He went on a vacation. He didn't pay my money back. He hasn't paid me a penny back. And then before you know it, that adult child now is kind of looked down upon by the parent because they didn't pay the money back, and vice versa. Sometimes I've seen parents borrow money from their children, and they have this problem because there's some tension between the child and the parent. It's the other way. My parents did that with me a couple times, and they borrowed money. And I wish I would have known, I wish I would have gotten counsel, that it changes the way the relationship is viewed. So here's what my rule is when it comes to money with a family member. If a family member says, hey, I really am needing help, would you loan me, $20,000 or loan me $5,000, you can loan me a couple $1,000, whatever. Here's what I'll say. This is what I would do. I will say, look, I don't loan money. I don't do that. But what I could do, I'm going to give you a gift. Like, I'm going to bless you. So, like, if you have a family member, you're like, I really, really want to help them. I was just dealing with a couple not too long ago, and they had somebody that they were dealing with, and they wanted to kind of take on a role of, like, I'm going to ongoing support this person. I said, don't. They said, why? Well, it's just going to be a couple $100 a month. I said, I would rather you give them $10,000 and say, we're going to give you this gift towards finding a home or buying a car, but it's not ongoing. I would rather you give somebody a large gift with no ongoing commitment or no sense of borrowing or paying back. Because what happens is when money is involved, the relationship changes. Now, that's with family. Not outside, of course. Like, I have business people that I've worked with, and we have loans and different things. Like, that's not a problem. You have a bank, that's a loan. That's not a problem in terms of the relationship, because that relationship is predicated based on the money. It's not predicated based on you came from my womb. You know what I'm saying? It's not a family thing. But when you involve money and borrowing and loaning money inside the family, it changes the nature of the relationship. The writer of Proverbs, in Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7, he says the borrower is slave of the lender. And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to put yourself in a situation with your family where you become the one that has to manage their lifestyle because you are now loaning them money. Now, I'd rather you give them money, and we could talk about should you or shouldn't you give money, and that's an enablement conversation. That's a whole different conversation. But really, it comes down to you don't want that relationship to become toxic as a result of you thinking that you're helping them. So I hope that makes sense. So when it comes to money, you just got to be careful. You got to navigate that in the degree that it makes the most sense. Another thing, and the Holy Spirit just put this in my mind, Pastor Mike always says when it comes to giving money, he would rather, and this is in general, he would rather do something that is sporadic and random than something that is expected and regular. So if you have somebody, you're like, oh, I want to really bless that person. Instead of saying, I'm going to bless them by giving them $50 a month or $200 a month or whatever, instead you just go one weekend, I'm going to give this person a gift. I'm going to give them $500, $600, whatever it is, so that they know, okay, like this is more than you might have given them in a year, but it's still something that is a blessing and not something that they're going to depend on and expect. Now, again, choose your own adventure with this. This is just, a lot of this is regurgitated counseling appointments that have gone bad. So I'm really just trying to help you and believe what the Lord wants in terms of family matters, that you make sure that you're careful about money.